Hey everybody, welcome back to this walkthrough and play-along series of videos about the Hanon-Faber new Virtuoso Pianist book. In this video, we are walking through and playing through gesture number 2, which they call the arc. All right, so gesture number 1, we spent a lot of time in that video discussing wrist circles and exactly what they are. So these explanations are going to be a little quicker than they were the first time around. If you need extra clarification, go back and watch that first video on gesture number 1. Just like last time, this video is divided into 2 parts. In the first part of the video, we're going to walk through very slowly what the gesture means. And in the second part of the video, I'll give you 6 practice tempos, 2 beginner, 2 intermediate, and 2 advanced tempos that you can hopefully come back to the video, revisit part 1 to double check and check in on how you're doing with the motion that the gesture actually means and intends. And then in part 2, you can practice along with me as I perform the gestures themselves. All right, so diving in, gesture number 2, the arc. The top of the page here says, this gesture traces the upper arc of a wrist circle. We talked about a wrist circle last time. So we're gonna jump right in, and again, I'm gonna take the first bar of music, just the right hand. I'm gonna position my right hand over the bar, and we're going to look at the symbols. We have the down arrow, which we said last time was, they said drop and I said fall. We're gonna feel like we fall into the key a little bit. Okay, so there's an attack with a little bit of arm weight, but then we make an upper wrist circle like this. Okay, last time we talked about downward wrist circles like this. It was a half circle. This time we're going the other direction. From our neutral position, we're gonna go up and around, and it says use active fingers supported by a single impulse of the forearm. That's this dropping, the down arrow that's right over the first bar, a single impulse from up here. And then it says drive over the top to a tall thumb. So that is just an explanation of kind of what this upper wrist circle feels like. If I play slowly for you the first bar, we have an impulse as we drop into this key. Remember, dropping and falling, we don't want to drop the wrist and collapse. We just have the wrist as a cushion and we have good structure. So we have an impulse and then we come over the top. If I show you with my left hand, the same thing, you're going to see it a little bit more easily, the over the top motion to a tall thumb. So if I take the first bar of the left hand and I show you what that looks like, drop and over the top, over the top. If I go very slowly with the right hand once more, and notice how on the page here, we're left with an accent and a staccato at the end of each phrase. Both hands, right hand and left hand. Staccatos, remember, usually don't mean just short note. They usually mean a note that's half the duration of the rhythm that's marked. That's why I'm not playing it super short. Okay, and with the left hand, over the top, to an accent with a staccato. Okay, now there are a couple other asterisks here that say, we go to the bottom of the page and there's a couple extra terms. This says use a forearm impulse that walks in toward the fall board throughout the entire phrase. We talked about walking out and walking in gesture 1. So just quickly, walking in particular means moving the wrist from our neutral place toward the fall board. If for both hands, that looks like this. So as the wrist starts in this natural place, the wrist is going to come up and go in toward the fall board. If you're playing on a digital keyboard, we don't have a fall board, but we have where all of your controls are, the edge of the key, that's where we walk in toward. So combining all of that, our fall into the first note, our impulse, and then our upper wrist circle with our walking in toward the fall board, it looks like this. And our accent and staccato. In the left hand. The other thing that I really like to add to this exercise is actually the idea that we crescendo through the phrase. I find that that really helps me in articulating this gesture the right way, and that's not marked here. So if I crescendo through the phrase, okay, so we have a slowly growing motion, a slowly growing idea that leads us to the accent and the staccato. The accent and the staccato are going to get quicker and quicker and actually lighter and lighter the faster you go. So remember that speed is not the goal here. Speed is not a sign of progress. letting the gesture become an innate part of you, letting it become automatic. That's the sign of progress. When you can take this gesture and apply it to repertoire that you're working on in other places, that's the sign of progress. As we start part 2 of the video today, remember that the first 3 tempi that I play, the 2 beginner tempi and the first intermediate tempi, I will play hands separately, and I'll play the entire gesture, everything that's marked here. And then for the second intermediate tempo and the 2 advanced tempi, I'm actually going to play only a portion of the gesture. I'm going to stop approximately 2/3 of the way through, where we end on a nice consonant note with both hands. And I'm going to do all of those in contrary motion, both hands together instead of hands separately. And that's something that you can add to your practice that isn't listed here in the book. One, two. 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 1, 2. One, two. All right, that's today's video. Gesture 2 from the new Virtuoso Pianist from this Hanon-Faber book. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If there's anything that was unclear about the video, I'm happy to help out and guide you as I am able to. If you found the video helpful, I hope you'll revisit it for your own technique as you perfect this gesture and these motions. And I hope you'll share it with other pianists and other teachers. Please give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Ding that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And remember to practice smarter, not harder. And I'll see you next time you visit Pianist Academy.